How far would you go to get attention? I thought a lot about bringing this topic to the channel, but I really needed to do it because this thing had been on my mind for a week. And it's a story about this girl, this Brazilian girl, 23 years old, who is living in Ireland and just faked cancer. The thing that made me keep wondering about this story is the fact that, okay, people do scams, people do shitty things because they want money and they do everything for it. But in this case, there is a twist in the end of the story. I saw, a post of this girl. She had cancer and she was asking for donations. It was a terminal cancer, so she could die at basically any moment. And I remember seeing a lot of people just sad about it because she was making her dreams come true. She was traveling, she moved to another country, and I felt touched by it. And I remember watching this interview of her talking about her cancer, and in that moment I thought, oh, she doesn't have cancer. People are just being scammed. Mainly because of two things. First, the way she was telling the story. Oh, the doctor said that I have a little bit over a month to live and I'm probably going to die in this period of time. And she was saying it like it was nothing. Besides her head being shaved, she looked super healthy. I know there are people that are dying and they look stunning, but not that usual. And her face was in aspect of like, oh, I'm living the best moment of my life. And she was speaking like it was nothing. I have cancer and I'm going to die in 2 months. And she was smiling, and you know, when you're saying something that you are proud of, that was the vibe that I got from her. And another fact about it is that she said that she had a surgery to remove the cancer. But the thing is, she said that she had a marrow cancer. But the kind of surgery she said she had to remove the cancer was through her rectum. If you know what I mean, I'm talking about a hole that you have in your body and it's down there. And in that moment I was like, oh, marrow cancer, it's technically a cancer inside your bones. I can be saying a lot of shit, but it's something inside your bones, and the surgery was through your... How did you get in the place that... How did you get through the bones from the... In that moment I was like, oh, she's faking it, she's really faking it. And I think that made clear for me that she didn't have cancer. It was the fact that in one interview she was like, oh, I'm going to die in... I don't remember the number of days specifically. In another interview, she just gave another date for it, and I was like, how do you have a terminal cancer? You don't know exactly, or you mix the dates. It's something too important for someone to just forget about it, or just to make a mistake about the dates. But that's not the point of the story, because the plot twist of it's insane for me. Because I don't think she did it for money. And people started sending money and more money, and everyone was sharing her story. And that's one thing that I don't do. Every time there is a story or someone saying something, I don't share, because there are a lot of people scamming people online. They want money, they will create a story, they will say that they're dying, and they're probably not dying, they just need the money. And I don't like sharing things without being sure that something's happening. I don't believe in people. But the thing is, she wasn't alone. She had this roommate. That's where the real story starts. I know, I'm laughing. You're going to understand. So she has this roommate in Ireland, and this roommate is a lesbian woman. This will be important to the story. That basically was taking care of her. But not only that, she was the one posting on the social medias. She was the one besides her that was actively online asking for donations. And basically both of them stopped working, that girl, because she had terminal cancer, and her because she was taking care of her friend. Now we get to the part that the story is finally reviewed. It all started with this girl on Twitter, and she made a thread of how I discovered that this girl is faking her cancer in Ireland. It was basically like that, and in that there are just few informations, but the thing that is more important for me is the fact that all the pictures that the person was using to fake her cancer were literally pictures that you could find online. She used to post a lot of pictures while she was on treatment, while she was in the hospital. But in all of those pictures, I mean, all there were pictures that she was showing just the face, all there were pictures that she was showing only the body. So it's someone in a bed in a hospital, but we can see that that's you because I mean we can see your face. And in the pictures of her face, it was everything dark. You could see a sheet that are usually used in hospitals, but you could only see her face and the sheet and nothing more because everything was really dark. And basically that's how the story started. But not only she started being canceled, but also her best friend, roommate, the person that was taking care of her, was being canceled because she was the one beside the person living together every day. I mean, how can you not see that a person is dying of cancer beside of you and they're faking it? But I need you to remember the fact that the girl in the first interview, she said that she had a surgery, but it was through the tiny hole. That makes sense because if you want to, say that you had a surgery without actually have had a surgery, you can say that, oh, the hole was already there, the doctors didn't need to open any part of my skin, that's why I don't have any marks of it. And another thing that add to the fact that the friend didn't know about was the fact that she started posting a lot of emails, a lot of conversations she had with her roommate's doctor. It was long conversations from different periods of time of they talking. And yes, the doctor never existed, the girl was faking to her friend too. But this part is a bit clouded for me because she was living with her friend all the time. She was literally there helping the friend taking a shower. Basically, she was there doing everything for that person and she didn't notice. Another thing that happened, now we go to the part that she confessed what she did. She basically started doing interviews again, went back to the same podcast, but this time she confessed everything, which was weird for me because she just confessed. And like I said about the first interview, that she was in that podcast talking about how she was going to die in a month, and she was, oh, I'm going to die in a month, well, I'm happy. The same impression that I had in that first interview, I had in this one. She was literally like, oh yeah, I showed my face to tell people that I had cancer. Now I'm here showing my face again because I think that's the right thing to do. And she was literally with that face, she was smiling, she confessed everything. She said that she was the only person involved in it, that her friend wasn't involved in it, and her family wasn't involved in it because during the time that she was asking for money, she started asking for money to bring her family to Ireland to stay with her in her last moments. But no one ever saw the face of her family, so probably the family thinks fake too. But about her friend, that's the thing, that's the plot twist for me. Throughout the whole interview, the whole podcast, what she was telling, yeah, I'm going to pay what I have to pay, I'm going to suffer the consequences. And yes, I lied to everyone, and she was saying it proudly. She had no emotion. She was like, you fools. And the moment she started talking about her best friend, roommate, she started crying. It was the only moment she started crying. It was the only moment she showed emotion. But it wasn't a normal emotion. It was because her friend basically stopped being her friend after everything was reviewed, and she started crying. But because her friend betrayed her, but by not staying on her side. And she was like, oh, she was there with me every day, we were taking care of each other, and now she's just abandoned me. And I was like, yeah, you faked a cancer. You faked basically your own death because you were saying that you were going to die in a month. Of course, she felt betrayed and she left you. It was literally, I trusted you and you abandoned me. I mean, if I were you in the same situation, I would be with you to the end. And in that moment, she got emotional, kind of angry, sad, hurt. She just raised like 5,000 euros, which is a lot, but not much for a scammer. Usually people, when they scam like cancer and it get kind of, I mean, a spotlight in it, they get more money. So it was a failure as a scam. But when people asked why she did it, she just said that, oh, throughout my whole life, I've never enjoyed people touching me, people being emotional around me. I've never had the experience of people actually taking care of me, actually paying attention in me. So I did all of that, and it was the time of my life that I felt most loved. For the first time, I was accepting people with like hugs, I was accepting people touching me. She started talking about that best friend. She was taking care of me. She was, I mean, literally at my side when I was taking a shower. She was 24/7 with me. She was there when I was sleeping. She was there when I was awake. She was literally massaging my body because she invented a lot of needs that she needed. And in the moment, she said all of that almost emotionless. But also, I think she's trying to use the mental issue card to don't go to jail. But about that friend, I think it's real. I think she started faking the cancer to get more attention of her. And I mentioned that her friend was lesbian. Not only her friend was lesbian, but her friend had this ex-girlfriend that didn't like that friend that was faking cancer. And she even said to her, I don't believe her, she's faking her cancer. But the roommate, the best friend, decided to stay at her side and defend her all the time. And it was weird for me, the fact that she could, I mean, put the blame in the best friend too. But she was just, no, it was all me. It was all me. Which I don't believe partially. So after all of that, after her best friend went to an interview to exposing the story more and more, the girl that faked her cancer started exposing the best friend. And that's where the story gets more interesting for me. She started posting a lot of messages, a lot of conversations that they had, her and her best friend. Not only exposing conversations, but videos, audios, and basically she was faking her cancer. But with the money they were getting from people that were donating it, she started buying a lot of things for that roommate that was taking care of her. And when I say buying a lot of things, I mean buying a lot of things. And in several videos, they were laughing about the things they were buying. If your best friend is about to die and you believe in it, how are you so happy about all the things she's buying for you with the money people send to take care of her and her cancer? Also, another detail is that the girl faking her cancer was going to the gym like nothing, was walking like nothing. She, in all the videos people exposed about her, she was looking normal, doing normal daily things. And I mean, how can that best friend just don't notice how good and how healthy the other person were? What I believe it happened was, oh, the girl started faking her cancer because she was obsessed, in love, or anything about that best friend, that roommate. But the story started getting bigger than her. At the same time, she was faking something. She needed to add more details. The story was getting big, but she was feeling good, she was feeling happy, or I mean, I don't think she can feel things exactly, but she was feeling proud of having a lot of people paying attention to her, because she literally said that. Also, she was happy to have the best friend that she was probably in love with taking care of her every day, all the time, like spending her whole moments of life with her, about her, everything being about her. But one thing that I believe also is that that friend in the start believed that her roommate had cancer. She started helping her, but the moment the story got big and she started getting more details of it, I think she found out that the best friend didn't have cancer. I think that they probably even talked about it, but I think she kept herself and everything in that lie because she was getting things from it. But at the same time, if everything blows out, if everyone finds out about it, it wasn't her, it was her friend. So it was better for her to don't discover the truth, or to don't expose her best friend while people was still helping and sending money to them, because she was getting the money too. She wasn't working, she was just taking care of her best friend and getting things from it. And the fact that in those videos that they're buying things or she's receiving gifts from the cancer girl, the fact that she was laughing, the fact that she was happy, she knew what was happening. She knew everything was what was happening, even if she didn't mention to anyone. It's a story that I've been curious about because at the same time it's a scam. It is an interesting story about crazy people, because I think it's more about power than money with the cancer girl, but with the best friend it's about the money. We know, I mean, everyone probably knows it. So that was this video. It's different from the kind of videos that I do, but I like to talk about this story, so maybe I'll do more in the future, maybe not. So remember to live proudly because you're fucking special, and say goodbye to the green hair because it's going down. Not literally. Bye. Bye. I don't know.